Do you need a lot of money to do or get started in rent to rent? Let's find out, shall we? Hello and welcome to the Property Unleashed with me, Mark Fitzgerald. Fantastic to have you joining me here. So do you need a lot of money when starting a rent-to-rent business or looking to grow a rent-to-rent business? Well, let me put one of the myths about this to rest from the word go. At the end of the day, you will need some money to get started. That is for sure. You're not going to be able to do this with no money. And you probably need a lot less money than you actually think you do. You see, a lot of people out there think that they need tens of thousands of pounds to get a successful rent-to-rent deal over the line. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. Why? Because that's what I've done for myself. And I've seen and trained and helped others to do the same. Normally, you may need to do a bit of painting, a little bit of decorating, nothing too much. A couple of £100 is what it can normally cost you to get a successful rent-to-rent business set up and working for you very, very well. Now, caveat to that is you'll hear a lot of the old stories about people who've got hold of properties, pumped in £5,000 to £10,000, which is absolutely crazy in my opinion, with a cash flowing business, a cash flowing strategy like rent to rent. But this is the old way of doing things. So a lot of people are still set in the old ways because they watch a lot of the videos or listen to the podcasts, or even some of the gurus out there at the moment that say, this is the way we got started, this is the way that we do things. That's not necessarily the best way to do things. Now, when I got started, that was still the way that people used to think. People used to say, you need a lot of money to get started. But once you get started, within a year, within 2 years, you'll have paid yourself back from all the money that you've put into the deals. And then the last 3 years of, say, a 5-year deal, and we do look to do rent-to-rent deals over a 5 years, they were saying in the last 3 years, you could start making money. So it would take me 2 years of hard work, managing and looking after properties to actually make my money back. That is not a deal at all. And this is what I train and teach people to do right here, right now in the rent-to-rent business builder. And we do it in the ultimate serviced accommodation business builder as well, because cash is king and you need to be making money. If you roll it back, a lot of people think that you need to get a rundown property, that the landlord needs your help. Now, the landlords could need your help for a lot of different reasons. They could need your help because A, they're fed up with managing it. Maybe they're getting a bit older. Maybe they just not got the right systems in place and they're fed up with managing the properties themselves, in which case they could do with your help. They may have a poor letting agent managing the properties for them, but just not doing a very good job. I see that one quite a lot. Or they may very well just be not making the money that potentially they could make from these deals when they're set up correctly, when the systems are in place, when you consistently and persistently keep the right tenants or the right clients in the properties, you keep them occupied, you keep the cash flow coming in. If you know what you're doing, it's a very straightforward process to be able to keep your properties filled, to make sure that the money is coming in. So if you find a property that is a bit run down, you want to be looking to negotiate with the landlord or the owner or the investor, them putting money into their own asset. Remember, this is their asset. They've bought this property probably for the long term. They want to make money from the property, but they also want to make money from the capital increase. And on average, over 10 years, property tends to go up. It can double. I wouldn't say it's always looking at doubling every 10 years, but on average, it'll go down and it normally goes up more. So property is a good investment. And that's what a lot of investors and landlords are banking on. But if they're not willing to put any money into their own property and expect you to do so, then at the end of the day, they're never going to fill their properties. They're never going to keep their asset worth money. It will depreciate, it will be worth less. So I train and help and teach people the way I've done things, basically. And that is to to take on properties, but to work with people, to get them to a good standard where you can manage them, you can maintain them, so they're not having to keep investing money time after time after time into getting the properties, done up, refurbished and things like that, because they do get wear and tear. If you're doing serviced accommodation, there will be scuff marks, there will be wear and tear. If you're doing HMOs, which is the other great way of doing rent to rent, there will be wear and tear, more people in the properties, more things happening. But if you keep your cleaners in there, if you keep a good handy person, for want of a better word, you can maintain and put the systems in place that mean that you can stay on top of minor little maintenance and refurbishment things that need doing. And in turn, that keeps the asset in better condition. So just make sure that money isn't something that's holding you back from getting started when it comes to starting the rent-to-rent strategy. I basically spent £250 on my first property. It was nicely done up. The investors had done a really, really good job. And the 250 quid was really for room dressing. So I could dress the rooms, I could have the pictures taken, and I could rent my rooms out quickly. That was in my HMOs. Serviced accommodation, I have spent £1,500 on serviced accommodations, which is, getting a bit better furniture in there, making them really high level, high end. And I do recommend that potentially you look at that now with your HMOs as well. Bring it up above standard in your area and you'll never have problems filling your rooms, because there's a lot of substandard stuff out there now that is starting to look a bit dated, a bit tatty, and we can keep ourselves a level ahead of everybody else. You'll get the same with serviced accommodations. A lot of people think, oh, we pump a little bit of money into an SA. You'll make good money, but you've got to make sure that your standards are high, that you're maintaining the standards so that your customers, your clients, whoever's staying in your properties wants to stay there. If you're interested in these strategies and how to get started very cost effectively and in the right manner, then check out the propertyunleashed.com website. I have free tools and resources there. I have a free ebook on rent to rent. I have a free ebook with HMO strategies, a free ebook with serviced accommodation that you can just download, you can read through and help you grow your education. We also have some masterclasses there and a deal analyzing spreadsheet, of course. We have the rent-to-rent business builder, which will show you how to set up a successful rent-to-rent HMO business and be able to create the lives that you desire. And we have the ultimate serviced accommodation, which is also covers rent-to-rent management, you name it, everything is in there to take you from complete novice to building easily a six-figure serviced accommodation business. Remember, you don't have to do this on your own. And by joining me on my channel, by listening or watching these videos, you are really putting yourself in the right place. So please feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and let's get out there. Let's build successful property businesses for the future, for your legacy piece, and let's get out there and make it happen. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next video. You take care and bye for now.